Good morning. So Saturday morning, sun came up about 20 minutes ago, and I'm all alone on the mountain today, which is not unusual for this time of morning. However, I think that part of it today has to do with the fact that, well, there's bears. So for those of you who've been following the Facebook page, it's a little unusual for Cartersville to have bear sightings, but this time of year, when they're ranging further afield and that sort of thing, it happens. In fact, it can happen all the way down to Atlanta. However, there's a black bear running around Cartersville, maybe a couple miles that way. And of course, a couple miles that way is town. So, odds are he's, if he's halfway smart at all and he has the opportunity, he'll be back over here. So what's that have to do with mindfulness? One of the things we were talking about in hypnosis, and I may have mentioned this before, was my hypnosis instructor, Dr. Wesley Anderson, who is amazing. So if you get the chance to train with him sometime, Dr. Wesley Anderson, hi Doc. I believe that he was the guy who said that, a person who is in trance, one of the things that noobs always ask is, if there's a fire in the building, is the guy in trance just going to sit there and let the house burn down around him? And the answer is no. Because self-preservation that's an instinct that's hard to overcome. In fact, nobody really overcomes it. You can work around it if you have to. But a person who is in trance is not concerned about looking foolish. He is not concerned about what others might think of him, that sort of thing. So if a fire alarm goes off, odds are that person is going to move very effectively, very efficiently towards the exit, and might even be the first one out the door, because he doesn't have to wonder about what to do. He's not panicking. Mindfulness leads to some of the same stuff. So, for instance, there's bears. If you are being mindful, if you are really paying attention, then what happens is you are not being concerned about what you have to do for the rest of the day. Checking off your to-do list, something that somebody said to you last week that really ticked you off, or the fact that you had a bad shift at work last night, or whatever. You're concentrating on the here and now, which allows your movement to be more flowy, etc., etc. But it also allows you to be much more aware of the things that are going on around you. So you are much more likely to notice if there is a bear, and you're much more likely to take appropriate action instead of panicking, because your baseline, your heart rate, everything else is already going to be significantly lower, so you have a threshold to pause to respond appropriately, as opposed to reacting in a panic mode. So, this applies to pretty much everything in life. I mean, the typical mindfulness stuff is, hey, you don't get just ticked off in traffic. Your blood pressure is lower, your stress levels are down, your cortisol levels are down, etc., etc. But that's because, most people, most of the time, are not dealing with life and death situations. They're dealing with things that we treat as life or death, and that's where physiologically, mentally, emotionally, we run into problems. One of the benefits of a Shugyo practice, coming out here on the mountain, is the fact that, well, there are occasions where it is life or death. You're pushing yourself up against a harder edge, and that includes bears. So, be safe, be mindful, take care of yourself. I'll see you next time.